Ready to roll. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mark Mistretta. I'm the Niagara Regional Director for New York State Parks, and I'm here to welcome you. And I'm so thrilled to see such a great crowd, especially on a day like today. But what a great setting to be on a day like today, especially with the nice breeze coming down the gorge. Before we get into the program, I get asked a lot, Devil's Hole? Where did that name come from? And so I might as well take this opportunity. Devil's Hole was a moniker the region developed because of its tough terrain, making it very difficult to navigate. And what is more, back in 1767, somewhere in there was a battle between the Senecas and the British, and we lost over 100 British soldiers. The Senecas did wonderful, they did well. And so after that, it really reinforced the name Devil's Hole, and it took on a whole new meaning. So for decades afterwards, the settlers stayed away from this area. And now, of course, things have changed. We're doing anything but staying away from Devil's Hole. It's such a beautiful setting. Why we're here today is to talk about the investments made and to talk about why we are attracting so many more visitors to this park and all along the gorge. So a little bit of history on Devil's Hole. So to start the program, I'm really excited that we're honored with some guests here. Jim Boyle's out in the crowd, and JJ Tai from the Wilson Foundation, and our own very own Commissioner Eric Kulisade. Happy that he has joined us. We're also welcoming our elected partners, Assemblyman Angelo Morinello behind me, Niagara Falls Mayor Robert Restaino, and there is a representative from Minority Leader Robert Ort's office, Alex Quinn. Alex, there he is. Thank you for joining us. We also have a number of our commission members here. I see Susan Swikowski out there, Tom Chambers. Tom, there he is at the head. Thank you for joining us. Haven't seen in a little while. And we have a newly appointed commissioner. I don't think she's here, Samika, but she may join us in progress, Samika Sullivan. So before we get to our speakers, just a little bit about the project. Behind us is what the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation helped fund. They helped create this plaza, this space to welcome pedestrians, bicyclists using the Shoreline Trail. We've got stonework, new pavements, columns, new plantings, lighting, the utilities. We needed to upgrade our utilities. So a lot of money and time went into this. We had work done by contractors, but also Parks' own staff did a lot of work, and I'll get to that in just a moment. So did Jason make it? The contractor, A1, he's not here. We just saw him earlier on another project, but Jason Lombardi has been a great partner with Parks. He won the bid. His company, A1 Landscaping, built this. And typical for Jason, he always adds a little extra on his own, and he's fantastic to work with. I see Ellie Gotti here, our senior landscape architect who helped run the project. Thank you, Ellie. And she works under John Honen's direction with the Capital Group. So thank you for all your hard work to get us there. And certainly our regional maintenance people who keep this place looking good and have all these improvements to take care of. Appreciate Bob Muno. Did Bob make it? He did all this nice stonework. These steps down behind me, down to the lower level. A lot of great masonry work there. And then we have Derek McCain and Jamie Hart, both working under the direction of Vince Iacoviti as managing the parks and managing the maintenance and keeping this place as good as it looks. So thank you all for that. So it's beautiful not only as a park that in itself, but also because of its location on the gorge. And with the location, the proximity to the I-190, not too far from here, great trailhead. Oh, here comes Jason now. A great great trailhead, parking lots, people come, these lots fill up instantly. I think one of the COVID results of COVID was people discovered what a great secret this has been all these years. We are actually shooing people away because it has become so popular. Jason, glad you could join us. You missed the build-up. I'm not even going to reference you anymore, but thank you for joining us.
I was working again for you.
I know, A1 Landscaping, thank you. So, with the help of our friends at the Wilson Foundation, and NYPA and some of our other funders you'll hear about, we've put over $800,000 into this project, and I think the results show. So, from here, you could cycle, connect to Niagara Falls State Park, go down the escarpment, over the dam, down the escarpment to Lewiston, to Art Park, and keep on going up to Fort Niagara. So it's about connecting, parks, connecting with all these trails and improving these amenities along the way. But this is such an important one, a nice respite along the stretch. So of course, none of this would be possible without direction from our commissioner. So with that, I would just like to welcome our Commissioner Eric Coulsay to the podium and thank him for his input.
Can you hear me? Or can you hear me? What? I'll just pick it up. So thank you, Mark, and really to all our regional staff. Is it on? Yeah, it's good. And you know, I think that's the one thing I love about this project. It was critically important outside funding from the Wilson Foundation and JJ Ty and Jim Boyle and the whole team there. And we just celebrated a fantastic Centennial Park yesterday in Buffalo together. You know, I think it's, you know, I think they are the accelerant for change in this part of the country and this part of the state, right? In making things happen. So we're grateful for that. I think it looks like Smika Sullivan has shown up, who is our brand new commission member. So another one of our commission members. We have 11 commissions across the state. These are volunteers appointed by the governor, and they show up and give us their time. So thank you, Smika, for coming out today. She's brand new, newly minted, just appointed this June. Obviously, everything we do, we do with the legislature, and the legislature, Parks is benefiting right now from record capital funding, obviously proposed by Governor Hochul. But the legislature is really comfortable always, and as our big supporters, and we try and make sure that we're doing projects that are meaningful in their districts, and I think that's safe to say that's where we are here. I am. And I think we also have, obviously, we have Alex Quinn from Senator Ort's office who's been equally supportive. Obviously, it's great for me to be here on behalf of Governor Hochul, who came into office probably as the governor with the most experience and love for our parks of any governor in history. And I don't say that lightly, but I think it's in history, right? She spends nights in our cottages down at Allegheny State Park. This is her backyard, obviously. She's in Buffalo and up here. She loves Niagara Falls. She will take her boat. She's at Sampson Marina. She is all over the place in our park. She went in Albany, which is her sort of new transplanted home. When she needs a little time, she'll come down to the Hudson Valley, go to Alana. So she's been an amazing governor. And we are looking forward to an amazing future with her as she makes her own mark and really becomes the parks governor, I think, of all time. I want to obviously the Wilson Foundation, they understand the importance of gateways, right, and the importance of drawing people into parks. And what we've done here, which is fairly simple but so elegant, and it puts a statement, creates an entry experience to this park. This park is sort of long and linear along the Niagara Gorge here, and with this kind of plaza here and the other work they've been doing with us at Whirlpool and further up, obviously in Niagara Falls Park, these are all ways for bringing, facilitating and enhancing the visitor experience, and that's certainly one of the things that I value as Parks Commissioner. I think visitors need to feel like they're coming into a sacred space, a sacred green space, and I think that these kinds of facilities like these fairly simple, but so important for making a statement about where you are. So I just think that the Ralph Wilson Foundation has just been so critically important to us, and really, like I said, been a catalyst for us to think bigger, think bolder, and think more regionally. I just thank you very much. I'm just going to applause. This particular park, obviously, despite its name, is in one of New York's unmatched landscapes. Right, this is a world-class park. We are taking back what was formerly obviously a 4-lane highway bit by bit. We've got Gorge View, which opened last year. We've got this. We're looking here north. We're tying all these communities along the Niagara Gorge together. And this is yet another piece of an articulation. It's another articulation of a vision and piecing together of the future of this park and this whole neighborhood. Right, thinking differently about Niagara Falls, as Niagara Falls is a city that's integrated with the gorge as opposed to cut off from the gorge, and that's what you're seeing here today more and more. I think that and then obviously we are thinking region-wide with the Genesee Valley Greenway, with the other gateways at Buffalo Harbor State Park, and countless number of projects getting done in the city of Buffalo thanks to their leadership. I just, for one, I am as much, I travel a lot. As much as I am drained by this job, I'm filled up by it, and these are the kinds of events where we are creating new ways for people to enjoy the outdoors and be here today. I'm thankful to our staff. Thank you to Mark, to our engineering staff, to our park staff. There's a labor of love in this park. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for making the Parks Agency the best agency in state government. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. We do have a brief program, but I'm feeling for you out in the sun. If please come in, get in the shade. Take out, if you're comfortable, don't be afraid to stand closer. It's too hot out there. Work in here. Just stay out of the camera range. That's all right. Hey, come on. Don't be afraid. Anyway, thank you. And I want to now hand the mic over to J.J. Tai. He's the Director of Trails, Parks and Trails for the Wilson Foundation. But he's not from around here, but you would never know that. We need to call him an honorary Western New Yorker. He knows more about our Western New York than most Western New Yorkers. And we're just so happy, as the Commissioner said, to be working with him. J.J.?
Good afternoon. I think I have the best job in the world. Yesterday on Lake Erie at Ralph Wilson Park, and today in Niagara Falls. And every time I visit Western New York, I get a chance to visit these tremendous spaces that you all have in Western New York. And it's just truly an honor to get to spend some time with you all today. My name is J.J. Tai. I'm the Director of Parks and Trails for the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation. There's a lot that I see when I come to visit, and what is it, almost 4 years ago now, what would have been Mr. Wilson's 100th birthday, we made a $100 million commitment to Western New York for parks and trails. And it was intended to do a couple of things. One is to connect communities, connect these amazing resources, these parks and these public spaces all through Western New York, but ultimately have a leave behind for the folks that live here and the folks that visit here. And I hope that a space like this can provide that entry point, provide that opportunity for folks to visit this truly beautiful space. And just a little bit on the connectivity that I think is really important. The ability for 9 million visitors to come to Niagara Falls. There are so many things to do other than to see the falls. If you come this direction from Niagara Falls, you can stop at Devil's Hole. You can go to Art Park. You can stop at Lewiston. You can go to Fort Niagara. If you go the other way, you can get down to Tonawanda, the beautiful new gateway on the river there. You go down to Buffalo, you've got Ralph Wilson Park, eventually the Outer Harbor. There's just so many different spaces to visit, and just spending that extra day exploring like I've had the opportunity to do, I think is just an incredibly valuable opportunity for those that come to Western New York. as a foundation, we really can't do anything. We can fund good projects, but I want to take a minute to look at the folks that are behind me. The city of Niagara Falls, the legislature, Niagara River Greenway, NYPA, New York State Parks, the DEC, all the legislature, and the governor. Without good partners and without vision for these spaces, none of this would be possible. So my hat's off to that team. I got a chance to ride around with them today, and visitors that come to these great spaces, they stop, they give directions, they help folks when they need it. They truly are personally invested into this work, and it's just tremendous to have partners like that that really care about the folks that live here and the folks that visit here. So hats off to all of you, and really just appreciate the time being here with you, and I look forward to my next trip to Western New York.
We'll figure this mic out. I think somewhere in this range might work. This way? Thank you, Susan. All right. Work a little better this way. So thank you, JJ, for your kind words. Appreciate it. We've talked a lot about our partnership with the Wilson Foundation, but we also have a number of other partners, especially our colleagues in government. So it's my pleasure to introduce Assemblyman Angelo Morinello as our next speaker.
Thank you, Mark. If everyone was listening, you realize there's no I in team. This team is led by Governor Kathy Hochul. We are so fortunate that she has continued the vision on parks, on recreation. There's a term that I keep using thanks to Lisa Vitello, who's in the audience. Lisa's part of the Greenway, but it's ecotourism. And what is that? It's non-mechanical. It's God-given. It's the gorge. It's the trees and the parks. We have here for tourism what no other area has to the magnitude that we have. Yes, there's areas with parks, small parks, larger parks, but the trail that has been put together because of this team of partners, including NYPA, Ralph Wilson, Governor Hochul, New York State Parks, NYPA, and the Greenway. And I may have repeated a couple of them because they keep giving, and they keep giving to this. But what I want to tell everyone is this: when you talk about this region, tell them to get on the Discover Niagara shuttle. Don't come for a day, come for a week. Every one of the improvements that has been put on by parks with all their partners, they can spend a day at each one of them. Whirlpool State Park, Devil's Hole. Take your bikes. We're doing electric bikes, rental bikes. Go down to Fort Niagara. Stop. The other way, stop in Niagara Falls. Go all the way to Buffalo. So let's focus on what we have. And I want to tell the local residents, take the blinders off. Quit talking about there's nothing here. Come see for yourself the improvements. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Governor Hochul.
Thank you very much, Assemblyman. And of course, our local host partner, the City of Niagara Falls, we wouldn't be anywhere without them. We're thrilled to be next to such a fantastic neighborhood, the DeVoe neighborhood. People ask me about that all the time. They're forever impressed with the homes and the properties adjacent to our lovely park. And Mayor Robert Restaino has been a great supporter of parks and a true friend, and I invite him up to the podium now.
I'll be very brief. Again, I'm constantly impressed by the level of work that the state park, under the direction of the commissioner, continue to invest and improve the park structure all along the city of Niagara Falls. Mark and I have had a number of conversations about this whole rim, and I can tell you I'm a lifelong resident, and I have to say that easily over the last decade, the state of New York, with partners. JJ, you're a great partner. The state of New York has done quite a bit to improve and really lift the game of our state park program here. I know that today we're here to celebrate the improvements here at Devil's Hole, but in listening to all of the speakers who've come before me, clearly the park that brings people to our Western New York is Niagara Falls. And I know that as a community, we sort of stand in the space of just trying to make sure that the space that is Niagara Falls continues to be a place that's inviting and welcoming. Our partners at the state park help us with that, and they help us quite a bit. Now that I see this improvement done, I can tell you I live just a short distance from here. And for a period of time over the last several months, watching the improvements unfold, again, another fabulous job under the direction of the commissioner, clearly with the instruction of the governor and the help of the legislature. Again, investing in Western New York, investing in our park program. I want to thank them for the continued commitment and invite everyone to enjoy all of the parks that we have here in Niagara County. So again, thank you so much.
And thank you, Mayor. So again, we're here about Devil's Hole State Park, but so many of the improvements all along the gorge, some we've mentioned, a whirlpool in the falls further north, they've all been attributed in one way or another to the New York Power Authority and monies from the relicensing of the Power Authority. So I would like to welcome Lou Panessa to speak on behalf of NYPA. Thank you for joining us, Lou.
Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of New York Power Authority Chairman John Comel, our new CEO Justin Driscoll, and our regional manager Daniela Piper, I'm delighted to be part of today's events as we showcase improvements to the multi-use trail and parks. They asked me to convey to you that New York Power Authority is proud to support this beautiful addition to Devil's Hole and the Shoreline Trail. And the pandemic kind of renewed our appreciation for the great outdoors, especially here in New York State. And that appreciation's been matched by investments and improvements in parks and recreation spaces like we're celebrating here today. I'm going to just deviate a little bit from prepared remarks. I'm really pleased to be able to work with the mayor and the host community standing committee, Greg Stevens and his staff on the Greenway Commission, and in particular, since we're talking about state parks, with Mark Messred on the New York State Parks Greenway Fund Standing Committee. All these investments in the local quality of life improve access to the waterfront for community enjoyment as well as to bolster tourism. But I'm equally as excited to welcome new partners. The Ralph Wilson Foundation brings even more resources and a new set of eyes. You know, they mentioned JJ, he knows the area better, but he came from outside the area. And he gives us an appreciation and a new set of eyes for the jewels we have and the ways that we can improve them. So from Ralph Wilson Centennial Park, which they talked about yesterday, to Devil's Hole and Fort Niagara, they're helping to transform the Western New York waterfront and make major improvements. NYPA is proud to work hand in hand with state parks and now the Wilson Foundation for all the improvements that you're seeing. You know, this is a rare opportunity. We have an opportunity under the relicensing settlement and the new revenues and opportunities that the Ralph Wilson Foundation does to really make significant improvements and transform our waterfront. And we know there's more work to be done, and we know that the results are going to be fantastic. And I usually close by saying we recognize these resources are part of the legacy we pass around to future generations. It's our responsibility, especially all of us from Western New York, to preserve and enhance the experience of visiting these wonderful locations. Thank you for having us here today, Mark.
Thank you. So the relicensing money that I referenced all flows through the Niagara River Greenway Commission. And for the past 15 years, it's been 15 years already, the commission has been project by project implementing the vision of the Niagara River Greenway plan, and they've been doing a great job of it. There's still a lot of work to do, but I'm honored and to invite my friend Greg Stevens, Executive Director of the Niagara River Greenway Commission, to come up to the podium and speak about some of the things he's doing.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everybody. I want to reiterate our appreciation for our Governor, Kathy Hochul, for her extraordinary commitment and perseverance on parks and green spaces in New York State. Second, to JJ and the Wilson Foundation, on the topic of parks and trails, I don't think there's ever been a funder with the vision that JJ brings to this project. So the money's great, but it's the vision that we really is extraordinary, and we appreciate it. And NYPA for keeping that water flowing over the dam, the electricity going, and the funding coming. It's terrific. That's the fuel behind our program. As Mark just said, this is our 15th year. We've just released our new brochure, which for the first time ever, I'm going to hand this to you, has a map of the shoreline trail from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario, which is now rideable from end to end, with a few detours on road, which we're hard at work trying to fix. Well on our way to the goal of 37 miles of uninterrupted off-road multi-use trails safe for family riding, people from other countries, well-signed, clear, a real asset for the community. We hope to expand that to 54 before we're done. And we've got another 38 years, I think, right, Lou? So we're not done. The new Devil's Hole in this whole process is a capstone for the completion of the trail through Niagara Falls, with the fabulous Gorge View section, through the Mayor's Gorge View section. Everybody that goes there is just dumbfounded at how different it looks than it did. And I think that gives us a lot of fuel for going forward from here. For the last 3 years, we've been working with support from the Wilson Foundation to conduct a comprehensive analysis of how to build the trail from Art Park north to Lake Ontario. We have a plan in place, and we're working with each of the municipalities to execute that plan. So this is the launch point for the final phase of the Shoreline Trail all the way to Lake Ontario. And at some point, we hope this gateway provides an entry point for the Tuscarora Nation, whose reservation is right there, for Niagara University, who are divided by this road, which will be changing in the decade to come, and the NYPA Power Vista, so that all this becomes part, much the way the aquarium has become a part of the entrance to Gorge View. This will hopefully unite all these hidden assets we have up here. So thank you all for your support, and we look forward to more to come.
Thank you, Greg. So that concludes our formal speaking program. And before we break off to cut the ribbon, I would normally invite everyone to enjoy the park while you're here. A lot of times we don't get to the park except for these occasions. I'd invite you to go down to the bottom of the gorge, but on a day like today, maybe just take a few flights. Don't go too crazy. If you do go, bring some water. But if you haven't been here, please enjoy this resource. It's phenomenal. So at this time, I would like to invite not only our speakers, but also our commission members, and Samik as well, to join us in on the ribbon cutting. And thank you again, everyone, for joining us today.